Getting unstuck by cultivating self love. Are you stuck in any area of your life, like personal or business? And sometimes people get stuck in their relationship and they don't seem to be moving on in their life. Cultivating self love and removing those blocks can lead to a whole health and better quality of life. There are many tools that you can use, like tapping. Would you like to learn some of these tools to cultivate self love and remove those blocks to easily tap into your inner greatness and radiate more joy and positivity into your life? Then you're in the right place. Give us thumbs up if you're interested in the topic. Welcome to Happy and Healthy Mind. My name is Dr. Rosina, and over the last 20 years, I have been serving as medical doctor, specializing in psychiatry, a best-selling author, and a transformative speaker. I believe in the power of mind. Mind is the software that runs the hardware of the brain and body. Therefore, I share practical tips for your mental fitness here so you can live your best life without burnout and unnecessary suffering. Just a disclosure, please consult your healthcare professional for any specific health advice. But if you find this content helpful, then join our mission of eradicating preventable suffering by liking, subscribing, and sharing so more people can live their best life with health and happiness. And today, our guest is Amina Bhaidani. Thank you, Amina, for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Amina, after working with many patients as a nurse, especially cancer patients or end of life patients, she went through powerful transformation, which inspired her to become a life coach. She's certified emotional freedom technique, trauma release exercise, yoga, and Zumba coach. And I love her Zumba classes. That's
Thank
how
you.
I got to meet her.
Thank you.
She's extremely passionate about holistic health and healing, spirituality, healthy lifestyle, and positive transformation. So let's learn from her. So, Amina, tell us, how did this topic become important in your life?
As you mentioned, wholeness. As a human, all the aspects of life, material, physical, spiritual, are all a part, and that's what makes us whole. So let me start with this. Self love is a topic which is very dear to my heart. I love it, and it's a work in progress. Self love is the foundation of every relationship, every aspect of your life, whether it is material or spiritual. So let's dig a little bit more deeper into this, what I mean by self love and how can we achieve it to have holy, a whole, happy, healthy life. So let
So, before you go to that, let me just ask you, how did it become? You said that it is really dear to you. So, how did it become so dear to you? Was there certain experience in life that made you start thinking about this topic?
So I was talking to my friends, or actually when I would be listening to the YouTube videos or reading a book, all it talked about is what is our default state. We should be feeling joyful. We should be feeling well. We always have to be happy, and I was not there, and I felt like when all these books are talking about us being as a spiritual being or as a human being, for now right now, as we all know ourselves as human beings, we're supposed to be in a state of happiness, which I did not feel at all. So I asked this question to myself and to the universe. I remember very clearly one day I stood and I said, what is all this people talking about, that you're supposed to feel happy and content, and you're supposed to feel the fullness of life? And I said, I want to know, I want to get the answer. So how, if you've heard this phrase, when the student is ready the teacher appears. So
Was that
something
the
like,
time when you were working for those cancer patients?
yeah, between cancer patients and operating room, but practicing nursing definitely.
Uh-huh. So that was kind of, you were seeing so much pain and
Yes.
difficulty people are going through when they're going through that end of life. So it is kind of hard to say, your default setting should be happiness, even though you have cancer or you're going to die.
And also that was affecting my personal life because
Hmm.
I used to be so angry. A lot of times I would be angry. My kids were little and I would, for no reason just start yelling. And I did not even realize what is wrong with me. I saw that my relationship with my husband was not very good. I was not very nice to him. It gave me little awareness, but still I was not sure what is wrong. So when I
Hmm.
was ready, things started falling into places, and I stumbled upon a video by Louise Hayes. She has given us so much wealth before she left now. God bless her soul. She talks about mirror work. So when I tried to practice that the first time, I remember I sat in front of the mirror, and I will talk about it later how it goes, but I could not even see myself in the eyes, and tears just rolled down. And I could remember said by with myself in a lot of aspects of life. I would just sit and look at myself and count all deficiencies, or I'll say I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I always procrastinate, I all the negative stuff, all the negative qualities of me. And I failed to see the positives, how far I've come along, what do I do. And it was not even a part of my life. Everything negative was part of my life. So what I saw, of course, this is my brain talking to me. So what I saw
Right.
in front of me was angry husband, angry kids, or working with doctors or co-workers. I wouldn't see much of happiness. So I thought that I needed to do something about it, when this should not be the fact, this should not be the reality. And that's when I started looking into how I can change this and what do I need to
Mm-hmm.
change. When I looked into that, I was like, oh, the answer is me. Let me start with myself. I cannot be
Hmm.
changing everybody else in the world or people around me. What about let me see what I can do within myself? So that's when
Wonderful.
I started doing things differently.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so we'll go into those things that you did in a minute, but can you tell me what kind of changes did you notice after you started practicing those things?
Yes, definitely. I feel more calm. Very rarely I would get angry. I'm not a saint or an angel. Disclaimer. It's not that I never get angry. No, I still do get anger episodes now and then, but I could tell you it's way less than before. Way less than
Uh-huh.
before. I have learned to accept others for who and what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that came because when I started accepting myself. So
Yes.
I have seen that I have gotten more calmer and patient with others. I have less episodes of anger. I have more clarity of what I want to do. After starting the work on myself, I started helping others. And then they said, why don't you, put some videos and, put the channel. And that gave me another perspective. So I helped through YouTube channels and through classes, and that gave me a lot more motivation to open up my horizon and give the world what I have. And I know I still have a lot more to give, but at least it gave me that courage to take that first step. That's how it
Mm-hmm.
helped me.
Wonderful. So it gave you joy, it gave you a purpose in life, it gave you
Motivation.
calmness, motivation. So a lot of positive things came out of that transformation. So, yeah, let's share some of those transformations with our audience so they can also experience that joy and calmness in their lives. So, can you share three or four of those in our short time today?
Sure, sure. So let me ask you this one question, Rosina. I would like some apple juice. And you just mentioned to me that you only have oranges in your house. Is it possible for you to give me some apple juice?
I
You
will
said you don't
feel
have any.
stressed.
You
I'll
said,
feel stressed
but what would you do if I
because
have to?
well, I would have to make excuses, or I'll have to go run and do a grocery run to get the apple juice. And it would be hard to give you what
Or
you
get some
want.
apples? to
Or
get me
get
the
some
juice.
apples. Yes.
Exactly. This is exactly the metaphor. So look how what we do is, first of all, we get stressed or find some excuses, or you going to take that step and say, let me go buy some apples so I can
Right.
give her that apple juice and keep her, make her happy, or whatever your purpose is. This is the same thing in our personal life too. When we talk about self love, first of all, if we don't want to get into that, we'll just get the idea out of our hind brain and just move on with our life and just get entangled into the loop of what we do every day and whatever it is, and then we find ourselves not in the happy place. But if we take that step of getting out of the comfort zone and doing something unknown, which is going, or at least at that present moment you are busy, but you took that extra step to go out and get that apple so you can get me the apple juice. Getting to that unknown, or getting doing something uncomfortable, and then you could see the results. So what it is what we don't have, there is no way we can give it to somebody. Now you'll tell me, I'm so nice to everybody. People are nice to me or so. But deep down in your heart, are you really happy? Are you really satisfied? Do you really feel that love? So we could do a little test. If imagine you are sitting in front of a mirror, or if you have the audience listeners, if you are in front of the mirror, whether you're in the car or in the bathroom or wherever, look at yourself in the mirror. Right now, I can see myself on the screen. Rosina, you could too. And just look into your eyes. Deep down, just look for a few seconds, like 4 or 5 seconds. And are you able to keep that eye contact? And what are you seeing? Let me tell you this. Majority of us, we see the grays, we see the eyebrows needs to be threaded, we see the wrinkles, and the list goes on and on.
Or the double
Double
chin.
chin. All right, yeah. And hair, I mean, so much, right? What happened to me the first time I looked at myself in the mirror? I could still remember, and I'm still getting goosebumps when I think about that. I could not even see myself. I just, the tears rolled out my eyes. I was just sitting there and crying silently because I did not love myself. I didn't see anything good in me. I did not appreciate myself. I did not say anything good to myself. I thought I did not deserve anything. I thought it's not me. Then I started the practice of saying I love myself, or I said I love you, Amina, or I love my, looking at myself, and oh my God, I'm crying, and it went on for days. And I mean, still now to this day, there are certain times, because as you know, we go through changes in our life and we have layers, and we peel each layer, and then there's something else that comes up. So it's a journey. It's a journey, but we have to keep living it. So when you look into yourself and say to yourself, I love you. And if some of us are already up there and they're able to do it, then I say salute to you and kudos to you. You could take it to the next level, which we'll talk about it in a few minutes. But at least for some of us who are not there, who don't know this, let's start this basic, simple thing. Just looking at yourself in the mirror and just saying, I love you. I love you. Giving yourself that a high five in the morning, or getting up, just like how Mel Robbins talks about it in her book too, that there is a science behind it, that you kick in some endorphins when you do that to yourself. But you see, what we have done is we always do good things to others. When it comes to us, we are very stingy. We are not so, we don't want to give all that to ourselves. So let's start this.
Double standards. We have double
Let's
standards.
start this. Let's start it with self. So that's what I mentioned. When I have that love, when my cup is full, only then I am able to give you some from my cup. If my cup is empty, I cannot give you anything. And that's what was lacking in my life. In my life, I was doing so much. Of course, I'm a nurse, I'm doing stuff for others. And I did not even realize that a big piece of it is I have to do self love first. Only then I can give a better quality to my family, and I'd be a good nurse, and I could do more things for others when I started practicing this self love mirror work, and also marrying the tapping. So, as you know about emotional freedom technique, if you, I don't know if any of you have practiced it before, but I could just go to the points, basically, head point, side of the eye, and under the
So,
nose,
like,
and this.
Amina, why don't we describe in one sentence what is this emotional freedom technique and what is the relationship with tapping? Um,
So emotional freedom technique is a technique where you tap into the meridian points or the energy flow of your body. You've heard
okay,
of acupuncture, where you get the needle onto those energy meridians to
right,
release the blocks or whatever you want to call it, to free up some energy. This is
right.
basically pretty similar to that, but instead of poking in the needle, we just work with the fingertips and we just tap into the meridians to open up the energy system and get into that flow, which we all are supposed to be in that kind of flow all the time. So we can start practicing today. Do some. We just had a New Year's Eve. We just a week ago, so we are right on time. We could start like today. We can start with small goals. As mentioned, researchers show that if you have a big goal and you put it out there for a long time, the success rate is not that high compared to making a small goal. Let's start for 7 day and do something really small, like a two technique or one technique. You have higher chances of success. So this technique, which has helped me so much and my family so much, the immediate recipient, my husband, you know, um, just little something I could share. A few years ago, we were going through a lot of issues in our personal life, business and all, and all of a sudden, he was getting so depressed, and I was very busy working. And then by the time I realized, it was like so far that he mentioned to me that sometimes he would even have suicidal thoughts, which was very scary. Thank God, for the awareness I had, because who knew whatever I was learning, I was going to use it right in my own house first. And we started using this technique, and thank God, things worked out. He's doing much better, and he practices this a lot. He's very successful, and I would like to share these techniques with you all too, and help as many of us who can take advantage of it. But before,
Why don't we go ahead and do the? Okay, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead. And
one
you were going
thing
to say something, but yeah, I would love you to teach her today.
one thing is, before we start doing all this, first of all, we have to get rid of all the negative talks of our own self. It's not that easy, as even for me too, but let's just try and bring our attention and see if we are using those negative words. Like sometimes I've heard people using words for themselves as I'm so ugly, or I'm so stupid, or I'm dumb, or how dumb can I be, how stupid can. Stop it. Let's stop it right there and say to yourself something nice. Okay, I made a mistake. Let me see how I can improvise it, or let me see how can I change this and move on, rather than using bad words. I'm sorry, Rozina. So
Okay, okay.
we
So you change your thought, you change your words, and then you use this technique. So
right.
go ahead and teach us the technique.
All right. So we are going to marry two techniques, one by Louise Hayes, which is the mirror technique, talking about the positive affirmation, and the emotional freedom technique. Okay.
Okay.
So before we get into that, there are a couple grounding exercise or grounding tools, per se, we can say. So first of all, if I can ask you to bring both your hands in the front, and this is my right hand. Turn my right hand. All right, right there. See,
Okay. Okay.
this is my left hand. Brought it
Uh-huh.
in. Yes, there.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
And
Okay.
combine this. Hold it.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
slowly turn it in and hold. And let's do 3 deep breaths. Exhale. Next one, breathe in. Hold your breath for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, and exhale slowly. And make an intention whether right now you want to calm down or whether you're trying to get something done or whatever is your intention. For now, we can talk about stress or calming ourselves down, calming our nerves down, and just take a deep breath and hold on to your breath. 1, 2, 3, and slowly exhale. Calm, peace. And you can talk to yourself. I am at peace. I feel loved. I am at peace. This is one grounding technique. Okay, relax. The other technique is you can bring your hands in the front and hold your fist tight, and then your arm closer to your body, both the arms closer, and hold it tight. Okay, if you're sitting or standing, it doesn't matter. You could just bring both your knees closer to each other and squeeze the stomach muscles tight and buttocks muscles tight, and breathe and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. Release. Let's do it one more
Yeah.
time. Bring
Okay.
in all the muscles, tight, 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 and clench tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. Wow, you can do this a couple times a day when you feel like you are getting too stressed out or you're you need some extra oxygen in your body. So these two things can really help you ground yourself. Okay, now let's get to the reason for the season, starting the self love. We will start with, you can have a setup statement where you can start with the karate chop point, and you can say to yourself, if you feel like you don't have that love for yourself or something, even though I don't love myself. But for most of the people, it's okay, you could just even go directly. But if you want, whatever is going on in your life, whether it's love, emotion, whatever you want to say, you could tap it 3 times. So let's say, for example, a person who's not able to focus themselves in the mirror or say I love you, because as I mentioned, you could start crying. And so you could say, even though I don't love myself, I deeply and truly accept myself at this time, and I say it's okay. It's okay. Even though I don't feel the love, I choose to stay calm and present. Even though I'm supposed to love myself, that's what I've been told, but I don't feel it. And it's okay. I accept myself. I accept for what and who I am. You can start that way. And let's go to the eyebrow point, which is in between both the eyes here. You could use 2 fingers right here and say, even though it's hard to love myself, I choose to just fake it. Fake it till you make it. So just say it to yourself. Get it on the side. It's hard for me to say that I love myself. I choose to accept myself. Under the eyes, even though I don't feel loved, I choose to accept myself and say to myself today, it's okay to love myself. I choose to love myself. Under the nose, I deserve the love. I deserve the love. I am safe when I love myself and when others love me. I am safe. I choose to accept the love. I love, respect, and honor myself. And you can even use little more if you feel like you want to make it more harder, or you want to tap it a little bit more harder. You could say that to yourself, and it when you are tapping, things will just flow, the words will flow. Just go with the flow. There is, of course, there is a scripture, but you have your own choice of words, and that will make it more powerful for you. I choose to love and accept myself. Now you can add the forgiveness piece. I forgive myself. I am safe. And then the other point is under the, um, it's by the bra strap here, under the elbow, under the underarm here. You could use both the arms, or you could just, so you can use all the words, positive words. I love, respect, and honor myself. It does not sound natural right now. It doesn't sound practical right now. Just say it. Just say it. And you will see, eventually you will get there. And you could do this 3 rounds, and then you could do the wrist point here, tapping both the wrist and saying something nice to yourself. I love, respect, and honor my existence. I love, respect, and honor myself. And say to yourself, Amina, I love you. You're beautiful. Don't wait for others to say it to you. You say it to yourself. And stop tapping and take a deep breath and exhale. So you could do this more than once. We just went one full round. Usually in the session, we would go 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and then we would do that, the wrist point, and then we would do the calming breath. And then you can journal it. When you do this tapping, whenever you do any work, there will be some thoughts. So there will be some words, vocabulary coming. There might be some healing you need, maybe as a child, as an adult, as a mother, whatever it is. Focus on that piece and go into the depth of it and heal it. If you need some assistance, feel free to get the assistance for any kind of therapist, but do this for yourself. You really will appreciate the work you do to yourself. Promise, it will help you in your life, in all the aspects of life.
Wonderful. That was great. I already feel so relaxed and loved and accepted. Sometimes it is hard, like, when I try to do in the mirror, it just feels a little foolish, so to say that, but I understand how important it is. So I have developed my own script that I feel comfortable with. But this is wonderful. I really enjoyed working with you. So we're almost out of time. So do you have any take home message for our audience today?
Yes, if you don't want if you don't want to remember anything out of the session, and if you feel like, I don't know if I want to do all this, is anything practical or not, just remember 2 things, only 2 things. Let's just talk good things about ourselves. Think of it, if you have a kid, are you going to talk to him all the time like you're stupid, you're dumb, no, you want to encourage them, you want to bring their spirits high. So what do you say if they did something good? Oh, high five, good job, baby. So let's take that to us and give ourselves a boost, a positive reinforcements, and say good thing to ourselves and pat on the back and say, good job, Amina. And give yourself a high five every morning. Get up and start the day with a high five. It's a wonderful day. And you will see the day starts rolling like that. And the second thing is start loving and accepting yourself for who and what you are. rather than getting indulged into the media and expecting ourselves to be that beautiful, skinny, and this body. Let's see ourselves beyond this skin, beyond this color and the meat, the soul, what we have, what we all have, what we all deserve, the happiness. It's there, it's here. We just have to experience it, feel it. Just have one thing I want to say before says no two snowflakes are alike. God did not make two snowflakes alike. So I try to write something. So no two snowflakes are alike. Then how can two people be alike? Why do we expect others to be like us when we know that's not what was told us? Treat others with respect, then you will get the respect you expect. Ask and you shall receive, you will get what you give. And you believe in yourself. Believe and you will live, you will happily live. Believe and you will happily live. You can only give what you have within, which is the love we talked about. What you give, you shall receive. Therefore, very important to choose. Choose wisely, very wisely, what you give. That's what you will receive.
Wonderful, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. If people want to watch some of Amina's video, you can visit her YouTube channel, Amina Bhaidani, and you'll find some of her special yoga classes and some tapping techniques, and that would be wonderful. She's also agreed to share a special gift for our audience today. It's called Toolkit for Self Love, and you can find that gift by visiting our website, happyandhealthymind.com. And of course, if you would like to get text for reminders and resources for future programs, you can text us the word joyful to the number 38470, and we'd be happy to send you the link for these resources. Right. So, for special of the day today, I received a question from one of the persons that I was helping. And I asked, so are you going for therapy? And he said, yes, I'm going, but I don't know. How's the therapy supposed to help me, anyways? And so I gave some an explanation, because I realized that a lot of people don't understand how just talking could help somebody. So would you like me to share the answer with you?
Of course, yes,
Yeah.
Rosina.
Yeah, so I think in my understanding, therapy is done by the person and not by the therapist. Okay. So
Definitely.
you are the person, like when you're learning to drive, you are sitting on the driver's seat, your instructor is sitting on the instructor's seat.
Passenger. Hmm.
You are on the steering wheel, you are pushing that accelerator or brake, and you can tell your instructor that, okay, now I feel comfortable doing, parallel parking, I want to practice on expressway driving, or I don't feel comfortable yet on this thing and I want to practice that. And the instructor helps you, guides you, and maybe use the emergency brake in case of emergencies, but you are doing the work. Similarly, in therapy, therapist is your coach, your sounding board, your guide, but you are working in therapy, and therefore you want to understand what you would like to do. So first phase of therapy is catharsis. You go and you start spilling all over, okay, this happened, that happened, I feel this, I feel that. And so a lot of people, like, you have to do that first step to get rid of some of the things that are clogging you, blocking you, so there is more space in your brain to process. But the improvement starts happening when you go to the second stage, which is the skill building. That's when you say, okay, well, all these things are happening now, I would like to build some techniques to help me sleep better at night, or I would like to improve my self-esteem, or I think I realize that I really need to work on my time management, or whatever area that you identify in that catharsis process, you start working on that. And then your therapist is going to guide you, okay, you can do this, you can do that, you go home, you practice this, you try it, the next time you come in, you say, okay, I tried it, this worked or this didn't work, and then the therapist can guide you further. So that's the second stage of therapy. That's where the most learning happens. That's when you see the most progress. Initially, when you're just doing catharsis, you may not see the major effect, because right now you're just kind of repeating all the problems that you have been going through, and you haven't made that progress. But that step is necessary to go to the second step. And then comes the third step in therapy. Once you have learned one skill, you go to the next skill, then next skills. So the last step of therapy is when you feel like you have learned most of the skills that you need at this time, and you work on what I call therapist within. So you learn and make those skills your own. So it's not no more like an outside therapist guiding you, then your inner self starts guiding you. So the three steps of therapy are: first is catharsis, when you let out all the problems that you're having. The second is learning certain tools, certain skills to cope with the area that you want to focus on. And the third one is the therapist within. So you are done with your therapy, you move on with your life, then sometimes situation comes up, and then you can say, okay, if I was talking to my therapist, what would my therapist say? Oh, my therapist would say, okay, go ahead and do this, and so let me go ahead and do that. So then you become your own therapist, and you become your inner self, your inner guide guides you in difficult situations in life. And that's how therapy helps you. And there are many different forms of therapy. Sometimes it's just directly a talk therapy, sometimes there is analysis, but sometimes it's thought training, sometimes it is this emotional freedom technique. So there are different techniques that are used in therapy. So if you need, go ahead and seek a therapist who can help you unblock your obstacles and be the best version that you could be. All right. So
Yeah.
on that, I leave with one question. Today, you have a choice. Are you going to waste your energy and abilities feeling sorry for yourself and being stuck where you are? Or are you going to accept where you are and say, okay, what I can do to improve, and take one small step towards the direction you want to go and to be the best version of yourself? On that note, I leave you with regards for hope, health, and happiness. Thank you, Amina, for joining us. Stay safe. Until next time, Dr. Rosina here.
Thank you.